Good evening, newbies, and welcome to Leaders of the New, Nonprofits Empowering Worlds podcast. Today we are joined by Rosa L. Antonini. She is the founder of Wonders of My World. Wonders of My World is a training. We're going to find out more about what made her found this organization. But first, if you didn't know, Leaders of the New is part of a larger broadcast network called the Female Solutions. This podcast, as well as all others, is all about solutions. All the stories we tell are inspiring stories. So we're going to hear a little word, just a founder, I should tell you, of a nonprofit. She also is an author, and she is a software engineer. So we're going to find out how all of these elements kind of work together to mold who she is and how she shows up for others. But before we do that, we are going to hear a word from the Female Solution.
Women have the power to transform this world. We can end crime and violence if we all agree to do one thing: share. Let's share our wisdom, share our time, share our talents, share our finances, but most of all, let's share our love. This is the Female Solution.
Hello, Rosa. How are you?
Hi, Bridget. How are you doing? So glad and so grateful to be here, to be your guest today. Thank you.
I'm so happy to have you. We've known each other for quite a while.
Yes.
And we've had conversations throughout the years. And I've always been very fascinated with you as a person and the work that you do. So I'm very honored to have you here today.
It's mutual because I always have this great admiration for all what you do and so many people that you help, that they can find and help actually with resources so they can accomplish a great thing in this world. So yeah, very grateful for you and for what you do.
Thank you. I appreciate that. So for those of our guests who are unfamiliar with your organization called Wonders of My World, which is an awesome name. Makes me think about an amusement park or a playground or something. So you're going to have to talk about where that name came from as well. But
okay.
Can you just tell us a little bit about Wonders of My World? What does it do? Who do you serve? And what the mission is? What are you trying to accomplish?
So Wonders of My World is a program that tries to break the cycle of poverty, how I see it, by helping young adults or enabling young adults in financial need with the skills. I am a huge fan of education, learning, because I come from very, very humble beginnings. And without education, I wouldn't be what I am today. So I think that to me, that is the best you can give someone. Doesn't have to be, let's say, traditional education, because sometimes that is not possible. For example, all these young adults in Uganda, they have no access to education. Many of them, they don't know how to read, how to write. So, but they can learn a skill. And that's why, I concentrate on showing and implement something that they can become independent. Carpentry, hair and beauty, all of those things. You don't need really prior education, just dedication. And all this group of young adults that have gone through the programs, they really give their best. They really, I'm so really proud of them because they have to go to work, they have to help their family, and they spend all this time for a year to a year and a half learning these skills. And they are so good. I just post some of the pictures, and thank you, Bridget, for your recommendation. I know that I didn't have all these images in Facebook, so I'll be trying to add it there. It's something that I've been doing. And, I really realized that they deserve to be seen. This has nothing to be about me. I want them to be seen because it takes a lot to do what they are doing. And they just put all their energy and effort, and they're doing great. I mean, we can go into some of the stories, but so in summary, Wonders of My World just enable young adults in financial need with the skill so they can get a job that hopefully will help parents and kids to make a better life.
And when you say young adults, what age group are you actually talking about?
Yeah, so Wonders of My World right now I started in Uganda. My vision is that I really would like to expand these programs to other countries, including Dominican Republic, which is what I'm from. So, but right now I started there. So the young adults, it depends on the country. In Uganda, at young adults, we are trying to limit to 16 the age that they can start. So most of them, they are older, like, 16, 18, early 20s. So that is the age. I know that there was like one that maybe was 15, but we try, over 16, the age range. Many of them have kids already, and that is the purpose. The purpose of these programs is really to help those parents, because otherwise, and there is a story that always stick with me. Maybe I don't know if this is the right time to tell you this, but one of the students of the first group, her name is Marianne, and she's so talented. She's the one that I added in the Facebook. She's standing, and the dress that you see, she's like facing the other way, so you can see the back of the dress. And I purposely chose that image because she's so talented. And all of them are so talented. She made that dress. And if you see the dresses that she made, beautiful. I hope someone will hire them at some point and really give them jobs. But anyway, beautiful, beautiful. They have great talent. And after she finished the program, she sent a letter to me. And it was so, I'm telling you, my tears came, because sometimes you know how this is. You work a lot, you try a lot, right. And sometimes you question, why am I doing this? Why? Because a lot of door closed. It's hard. It is hard. And then in that letter, she said she was so grateful. And she told me that thanks to this program, she didn't see any more family members dying from hunger.
Wow.
And that was, it meant so much to me, because at that moment, it's like sometimes you're just helping 10 or 20 at a time, and you would like to do 100 and 1,000, but you don't realize the difference that is one life that you change. One life. They sent me the picture of the mother, and the mother sent me thank you so much. Now my daughter has a job. So we send help, some sewing machines. So she got her machine, and she was so happy. But the point is that sometimes, and many times, we're used to a life that we think that maybe doing a little something here or a little bit there, maybe it's not enough. And I used to think that way. And I remember feeling like a heavy weight over my shoulder, because I wanted to change so many things. And I wanted to see, everything, more people happy, and at least with the resources that they needed. And it took a lot of time for me to realize that I wasn't going to do anything from that perspective. And then I changed, really, my mind really changed. And it did a flip in asking myself, what can I do? And changing a life, 5, 10 life, whatever is that number at the time, that's good enough. You do the little thing, as small as it can be or as big as it can be, but it goes a long way. Because for one person, even if it's only one, it's a big change for them. So anyway, I love Marianne. Hopefully one day she sees this, but so talented, so talented.
Well, absolutely. helping one person is going to have a ripple effect. Like you said
Yes.
earlier, when you help the child, it also prevents their family from being in poverty, because that child will bring that money back home, and it will help their brothers, their sisters, their mother, their father.
Yes.
Speaking of mothers and fathers, how are the parents relating to you and this program? Are they in support? Is there some convincing that you have to do? How is that process? What does that process look like?
Yeah, so over there on the ground, we have Moses and a few members of the Love Street Ministries is in Uganda. So they, sometimes, remember, some of them might not have parents. Some of them, they're already like maybe with kids. So, and in some cases, they're parents. And no, all parents, they really want, all the kids, they want to send them. There is a line of more waiting. There is always more waiting list. So yeah, all the parents, they really want, because the community has nothing. I don't know if you've seen the picture, but even, there is not enough shoes, there is not enough of anything. And they see the change. They start making the clothes for their kids. They start making the clothes for the community. They start doing this hair like braid and with colors and very creative. So the community has seen the change. So there is no pushback at all. Everybody really, so many wants to join. Yes.
I love that. Now, talk to me about why Uganda. How did that connection happen? You mentioned a name earlier, Moses. So for our viewers, Moses is your contact there. Yes. And he's with an organization called Love Street Ministry. Is that correct? Yes. So how did that connection happen? Why Uganda? Because hey, I think that we need this trade here as well. We might have to talk because these trades need to be here as well with our young folks.
I know, so believe me, I agree. I really would like to help to bring them everywhere. So the way it happened is actually interesting. Sometimes you have a vision, you're working towards something, and many times we want to step 1, 2, 3, and we want to know this, and we feel fear. And if we don't know the next step, we don't know how is it going to do. And you always just have to be patient. You keep working. You keep in your mind knowing what you want to do. I knew I wanted to help. I knew I wanted young adults. I knew I wanted this education, right? And it was through Instagram. So I did one story one day, and I said, ask anything, one of those Instagram story. So Moses that work, in this, they have an orphanage. They work with orphans. Everything is little kids that have been abandoned, and that's all what they do. So they try to gather funds for their, food, and also, school, things like that. So I had done a donation, before, so I knew about this organization, like I have seen it already. But when he sent me the question, so the question that he sent was, will you help the children? Something like that in that context. Now, we know that there is a lot of scamming, social media, and a lot of things that sometimes try to do that. But this was different. I've been seeing this organization already. And in the test, for a moment, I thought about it, and I didn't reply right away. I researched more about what they were doing. And then on the next day, I replied. And then I said, I love what you're doing, helping the little kids. I completely understand. And there is need for food, and there is need for all what you're doing is a wonderful job. But I have a mission. I really want to help young adults with vocation, a program, learning skills that they could have a job, so then they can bring money and help parents and kids. That has always been my vision. So I talked to him, and he listened to me. There was nothing there. It's not what they did. But he was so willing to say, that he will help me, And we just start working together. He started doing the recruiting. He mentioned to the ministry over there. So then it kind of had that branch then where they started recruiting the kids. young adults actually. There were some like early 20s as well. So that's how we started, and it has been already 4 years. It's 4 years that we started.
Wow.
Yes.
How many students have you graduated?
I don't know. In total, every time it's a group like of 20 at the time. That's what we have. I mean, we started with 12 the first time, and then it's been like 20 every range. Right now we have 20 more coming. So I don't know the total by now. Maybe we hit 100 soon.
Okay.
Yes.
So it definitely seems like an endeavor that you need to have. By being in another country, you need to have a contact there.
Yes.
And so social media was that bridge for you. And
Yes.
that's what's great about social media now, that you can actually collaborate with people all over the globe. There's no limitation.
Yes. Yeah, that's what is good. Like these days, they have the need, because also they know you just need people that you can trust, and the need is there. And there is a lot of people that want to help. They're helping a lot their community and the little kids. That is a big need over there. A lot of kids, have lost their parents, and they're on the street. So that is like their main thing. But then they're doing this with me as well.
So talk to me about the very first step you had to take, because this is an actual school. I saw, let me pull up another picture here. Let's see. So you have equipment here. I'm assuming this is one of the students. Is
Yes.
she modeling a dress that she made, or
Yes.
a dress that someone else made?
Usually they model what they make. Yes.
Okay. Oh, we're not there yet. But you have equipment. You have, there's another one.
She's Marianne.
Is that the one you were talking about earlier?
Yes. Her name is Marianne. Yeah, that's her.
So how did you get the equipment? What did you have to do? What was the first steps that you took to get this thing started? What was your very first step?
The very first step was to fund it. I mean, to fund it over there so they provide, because sometimes buying the stuff is more expensive. So they provide finding the teachers and the location. They have it over there when they do it. So it's just to fund that everything, is happening smoothly over there.
Did you know what skills you wanted to teach? Why did you choose those particular skills? Carpentry.
Well, I was thinking about something that first I asked also Moses. I mentioned what in that community is something that they could get a job, in something that they could do and be independent. That was the first thing. So the programs, they don't have to be that depending on where they are. So it depends in their community. Those are things that they can learn without having any prior education, and is needed. So they can actually get the job. Sometimes once they are done, like in the carpentry, they get offered a job right there, or they start having the little business, So that's what drove. What is a skill that that could be implemented in the area? Because we don't want to provide something that, let's say, I don't know, I cannot think about something now, but something that, okay, you learn a skill, but then what do you do with it? That wasn't the purpose. The purpose is that you can find a job and start making money from that skill.
Absolutely. Absolutely. So you mentioned funding was the first step. So let's talk a little bit about funding. You have a very unique way of funding this program, because one of the reasons we came into contact for the first time was you were thinking about getting a 501c3 status here in the United States so that you can apply for grants. And we talked about it, and I consulted you with that. However, you decided not to do that. You made a decision not to go the route of asking, applying for grants and asking funders to fund this program through that course of action. So you have another unique way of funding this program. Talk to us a little bit about that.
Yes, so I have this way. My book, The Zero-Sum Game of View. This book came actually to me before the program. It was an inspiration. As you know, to answer your question, it comes from the book. Everything from the book is donated for those programs and a little more, because the programs, the program lasts a year and a half, plus the material you buy. So it's the book and maybe a little more as well. But the book, 100% of the funds goes through that cause. And also, I have other stuff going on that I'm hoping that it will help to expand these programs as well. But yeah, that is the route that I decided to go. And what was the other question?
So you decided to go this route and not ask for grant funding. Can you talk to us a little bit about why you made that decision?
Yes, so sometimes it's more like, what can you do when you are, again, like, how can you move forward? So to me at the time, doing grant required like time and trying to do things that I didn't have the time. I work as a software engineer, my whole day. I write at night, and weekends I write. So it's more like what I can manage and what I can do faster with what I have at the moment. By the time we spoke, I already had started the program over there. And I don't know if eventually, if there is a way that could expand the program, maybe. Not sure, but that's how I decided to start it. It's something that I was able to do without waiting and without, I didn't want an excuse. And then I remember at one point I tried to open a nonprofit actually in the Dominican Republic, and that would have helped a lot of people as well, because there is a lot of people over there suffering. Anyway, I'm not going to get into that story, but I have a very good plan for that. But because it was from the United States to the Dominican Republic, then you get into these money laundering rules, and the lawyers, they wanted like $20,000 a year just to basically make sure that your organization was not like money laundering. So I just got I just got tired of that, and I'm like, I'm gonna see what I can do without going through all this stuff, and that's the decision I made. It's sometimes like like I was trying something, and like the door will close, and then another one, and it won't close. But eventually, I believe that is because I needed to write, because I was trying to do all this help, like that type of nonprofit. And I think that maybe I went through so many hiccups because I think I really needed to write, because the book has a message bigger than the organization and the nonprofit. Somehow that drove me to, which by the way, when I wrote the book, like the first edition of this book, I didn't know the objective. I didn't know that I was doing it to donate. I didn't do nothing like that. This book came to me as an inspiration right after I had a very, I was just tired of trying, because I was, always feeling so heavy for the people that are struggling, feeling sometimes guilty, feeling that I have more than enough where others maybe don't have food. So between that guilt and whatever that comes sometime, when you come from very humble beginnings, that's one of the things that you have to deal with. The guilt that you feel, it's not like you don't deserve it, but yeah, there's a lot of baggages that come when you come from a very humble beginning, because it comes between worth, deserve, and leaving others behind as well. If you have all those feelings together. So that is another conversation, but all of that was coming to play. And then I've been trying to this organization, and I was getting so close this time. And with the lawyer wanting all this money, I'm like, oh my gosh. And I was just like, that's it. And I remember, if you believe, God, universe, whatever, I remember I was like, you know what? I was telling you, I just want to be normal. I want you to take away this stuff that I have in me about helping people, because I'm suffering and always suffering internally. I cannot enjoy going to, let's say, have a steak in the restaurant, and all of those stuff they were draining me. So, and I remember just having like, I just want to be like everybody else, just live my life and that's it. And, there were tears. Yeah, sometimes you get very deep and whatever, but that very deep experience. And I would say, I don't know, some weeks between like 2 months around there, this book came from nowhere. I am a software engineer, meaning I speak computer language. That's what I know how to write. My language, I'm originally from the Dominican Republic. I never had to be concentrated in English. I learned to do computers, and that's my area. Writing a book was never a vision, a goal, nothing ever. This book came a true inspiration. One day driving, I was thinking about all the why people are successful, why some others are so difficult. And it just it's a zero-sum game. It literally, I saw the title in my head, and I can tell you, I started writing almost like if magic will happen in my fingers. I wrote without thinking about grammar or anything, just writing. And sometimes I will get stuck, and then I will have like dream at night, and then the next day I will like continue writing. So I always say, sometimes we get very, not stubborn, but very fixed on an idea that we want something, A, B, or C, and it has to be that. And what I have learned is that you need to be open. You have your desire in your heart that you're doing it for the right reason, but you have to be open to see how things develop. Because sometimes, it seems that the organization wasn't really my thing. It came as a side, because when I was done with the manuscript, all of a sudden I said, I'm going to donate 60%. I remember that's what I said, 60%. I mean, I donate everything, 100% of it. But I'm just saying, at the moment that I was done, that's what I said, right? So, and then at that specific moment when it was done, it's like where I put everything together. And I'm like, oh my goodness, this was my way to do what I wanted to do. Like, I didn't want to be asking for money. I didn't want to be whatever. And it was this. So I feel like with this, I help internally the person. And I have another one that is coming up in May. But, there is a lot of, I feel, giving back in this book. Like, there is a lot of love. There is a lot of compassion. And there is a lot of giving back. Like, everything, that I have learned, anything that I think is going to help them, not just, like, I believe a lot. So I try to give a lot in those books. So that's the story. That's how we started.
So we're going to take a quick commercial break. But when we get back, you said a few things that I would like for you to expound on. We're going to talk a little bit more about those humble beginnings. And we're going to talk about a little bit more about what's actually in that book. Okay. Can you say the name of the book again?
The Zero-Sum Game of You, From Stuck to Thriving.
I'm going to tell you that is a complicated title, because every time I wrote it, when I was marketing this particular show, and I had to write the Zero-Sum Game of You, I kept putting the dash in the wrong spot, and then I would have to go back and edit it.
I cannot tell you, Bridget, this was the inspiration. What can I tell you? It's the name I saw. But I'll tell you why.
I got that wrong so many times. But we're going to take a quick commercial break, and we're going to talk more about the Zero-Sum Game of You.
Yes, and also how the name came up. You asked me that question. I forgot to answer. Yes.
Sure, we're going to get into it.
Perfect.
Everything we're made of contains light. From the sun that feeds our world to the energy that flows within us. With LifeWave X39, we've found a way to put that light to work. With X39, we achieved something remarkable in the field of wellness and science that others could not. By utilizing LifeWave's unique patented technology, X39 uses light to elevate GHK-Cu, a copper peptide known to support overall health and wellness. Unlike traditional light therapy, X39 uses the body's own infrared light to naturally increase vitality. By gently stimulating the skin with light, our non-invasive, non-transdermal X39 patches help you conquer your active lifestyle and pave a new way to vibrant health.
Leaders of nonprofits empowering worlds. Let's go.
But the vision that God gave me, I felt that it was time for me to step out and work on the vision that God gave me.
We need look no further. We have a unique voice. We have a unique talent pool.
Okay, and we are back. Let me put you in the right spot over here. So we do have a comment from Sandra. I think you might know Sandra.
Sandra, yes.
Rosa, thank you for not letting the naysayers stop you.
Don't let the what?
The naysayers.
Oh.
Can you see?
We have many. There are many.
Yes. Don't let the naysayers stop you. Or thank you for not letting
Thank you, Sandra. Thank you so much.
Stop you. Yeah, Sandra's actually going to be a guest on my next show. So she's also a founder of a nonprofit.
Yes.
So you guys, newbies, stay tuned. We have a whole lineup. I have people lined up all the way for the next couple of months. But my next guest is going to be Sandra Washington. Hey, Sandra. Okay, so you mentioned humble beginnings, and what I, for one, know that you're humble because when I was creating the marketing materials for this particular show, in one of the flyers, I called you a philanthropist. And you were like, no, I don't, we talked and you were like, no, I don't go by that name. And that's not something that I call myself. And I told you, well, that's good. And that's honorable. And you probably shouldn't call yourself a philanthropist, but it's okay if other people say, hey, she's a philanthropist, because really that is what you are. And by definition, but I'm saying that to say, I know that you're not trying to take credit for the work that you do. No. Because of the conversations that we've had. And you always kind of shy away from people giving you credit. And it's not like you can even find a lot of things. You have a lot of stuff on social media related to your book and some of the other things that you do, because you also talk about self-development type topics. Yes. And that's what your book is about. We're going to get into that in a minute. So you have other things that you're doing. And a lot of what you see on social media related to you is about the work that you're doing with helping people to develop themselves, their inner being, and to overcome restrictions in their life, and to overcome obstacles, and to kind of merge the spiritual as well as the physical. And you don't see a lot about the charitable work that you do. I could not find one thing. I'm like, woman, where's the pictures? Where's the this and that? So I know. Something that you're not broadcasting. I want my audience to know, like, she's not out here saying, this is what I'm doing. I had to force this out of her. I had to force her to, send me some pictures. I couldn't find anything, but you did just put a page up, I think yesterday.
Thanks to you. Thanks to you.
Thanks to me.
It took you come to me for me to, and it was a lot of thought I did. I'm like, trying to say, okay, I really don't want to make this about me. That's why there is no picture of me on the page and whatever, but I need to give some credibility so he knows it's real. And that's why I put the name to show the journey of the students. Because then that's, the fact that you asked me for it, and I never sort of like that, because, sometimes, whatever. So what I say is, they deserve to be seen. They deserve to other people to see how, all what it takes for them to do this. And then when they do it, and to maybe give hope to maybe someone that is not struggling in that way and is struggling in another way. But I'm telling you, Bridget, that page was born because of you. I literally did it, I think, last night. So there are no other videos. I just put some.
Yeah, I saw it. I was like, what? She put a Facebook page up. So after 4 years, she finally put a Facebook page up for Wonders of My World. And it profiles all of the, students and their accomplishments and things like that. So you did a great job.
Just a little bit. I don't have time. So I will put so people know, I actually told Moses, I'm like, let's just give a little bit, because he sent me and I know what's going on. So Bridget, this was you made this happen. Now people will be able to see the program because of you.
Yes. But this is something she was not profiling. She was not like, hey, I'm out here doing this. And again, it's coming from the heart. And those are the people that I admire, people that they're not out here just saying this is what I'm doing, but they're doing the work. They're doing the work. And it takes someone else to say, hey, a light needs to be shined on this. Okay. So that's part of what that's really what this podcast was born out of, because I help so many clients, right? And they, majority, not all, but majority of my clients, I helped them to start the nonprofit from scratch. So they didn't have a nonprofit at all, or hadn't done anything toward starting the nonprofit. So I helped them take the first steps, but they were already doing charitable work. They were already out here doing the work just from their hearts, and so sometimes I see those people get looked over in terms of, grant funding and things like that. And so it really just kind of burns me up a little bit. But I felt like I needed to let people know that there's people out here really making a difference in this world. Mm-hmm. And I want those stories to be told, not all this other negative stuff that we're hearing all over the place. If you just listen to the news, you would think nothing good is happening in the world. And there is. Yeah. There's more good actually than bad in this world, but you wouldn't know it looking at the mainstream media. So I said, a light needs to be shined on these unsung heroes out here that's really grinding, helping people, not asking for anything in return. Even when they don't get funding, they're still out here doing the work and they're making it happen. And like, those people need to be, a light needs to be shined on them. But I say all of that to say, this woman, she has a lot of stuff out there. And
you're going to give me a headache.
None of it was related to this major thing that she's, that she's doing from the heart. And
let's change it to the students.
Yeah. So that lets
it's for them.
that you are doing it from the heart, and it's humble. So Wonders of My World, what made you come up with that? With that
the
title,
name,
or that
the name, the name actually is because of my kids. I call them they are the wonders of my world since they were little. So I felt that in the program was based on pure love, which is what I feel for my kids. I have a son and a daughter, and I always saw like nothing else will matter as much as them, and they knew that, right? And I want them, when you have kids, they become your wonders. So That's what it came from. And it's because it was pure love, which is what I feel I have for this program. That is like, that can happen because of love, because you love the person, not by blood, not because you know them, just because humanity, we are like in this together. So it's that love that connects us. And I think that's how it came out. Yeah.
Okay. Now let's switch to the title of your book, The Zero Sum Game of You. Where did that come from? I think that's a concept, isn't it? The zero sum game.
Yeah, so a zero sum, in the game theory, is basically like when you play chess, meaning in order for someone to win, someone has to lose. That's the concept of a zero sum. There is never half in between. There is never like, it's like one win, one lose. So that is a zero sum, right? A zero sum game. Now, when I was having this title just came, and I was thinking like, what makes people, let's say, successful, and others that, I don't know, it seems like they always full of one thing after another, and they can never get out. And it's like a loop that they cannot get out of there. And in my head, that's what I said. I'm like, oh my God, it's a zero sum, but it's not a zero sum game between two people. It's a zero sum game within ourselves. That's what I saw. That is we all have, I see it as two sort of forces within each of us. So the forces that, let's say, I always put the example of losing weight because it's an easy one. You want to lose weight and you want to be healthy. That is this side of you. But then the other one of you really want to stay longer in bed and want to eat all the dessert and want to eat all that stuff. So one of those is going to happen, right? So either you're going to commit into one or another. So the same thing is with every choice. Like we do so many zero-sum choices since we get up. We get up, and right when you are stepping up, you're already going to say, oops, I started the day with what they say, bad feet or something like that. Or you can start just like, thinking a little bit of gratitude and seeing anything good that you can have in your life. Doesn't matter how terrible things are, there is always something to be grateful for. But one of those are going to baseline your day, right? And then you're going to start making decisions at your job. Either one person is going to get you annoyed for something, or you're going to be handling well. So the concept is that in each one of these battles that we have within ourselves, let's take these forces, and the reason I made it, or I saw that it works as a zero-sum game, is because if you see things as a game, it's almost like when you watch a movie. So, or let's say a sport. Let's just say that you like a lot someone playing tennis or baseball. So when you go and you're seeing the game, you can judge it very easily. Oh, that person made a mistake. Oh, I would have done this. Oh, a lot easier to see stuff from outside. But when you are inside, you are the player, which is what happened with our life, right? We are the player, the main player of our life. So sometimes, and many times, we are so in the game that we don't see how to make decisions outside the game. But if we see, so in here I explain like how you get out of this, then you can see the decisions that you can make from a more objective point of view. Now you are now within the game. You're playing the game, but with an attitude, almost like if you're seeing the game from outside the game. So, it has the two components, the game just to make the judging outside, maybe defensive. You get defensive. Someone says something, you get defensive. But no, if you're seeing it from outside, you can become your best advisor if you're seeing stuff, more from outside. So it has that concept. And also the zero-sum game battles is those emotions that we have, those emotions that maybe make us angry or sad or frustrated. So one of them is always winning. We always have a side of us that is always winning. If you're very optimistic all the time, maybe you already have so many habits in that direction that you don't even recognize yourself like you have another side, even though we all, doesn't matter how much optimistic and how much gratitude and how much they're going to stuff, life is going to bring you surprises that will shake you. and that you're going to question, and that maybe you're going to feel like you don't want to get up a day. And that happened, I would say, to all of us, because at any point of another, we all feel, we always have a day like that. But the question is how long you stay in that state, right? How long you shake it off, and then you just, continue. So in the book, it's more about giving these tools, that realization. I touch into the cultural belief, right? Because that's another thing that is programmed. In my career, software programming, that's all what I do. I see patterns. So I've been seeing patterns for a long time. I design architecture and do a lot of programming. I see the same with me and with other people, that this programming that happens sometimes before you even had the mindset to make a choice, but somehow we think that we're choosing from a baseline that started long before we were choosing. And those programs, inner programs, are within us, and they're, triggering certain behavior and certain thoughts and certain patterns based on that. So even that, recognizing that when you're feeling one way or another, just to question, is this really, where is this coming from? If you feel, sad, if you feel that you cannot get something, if you feel something is so difficult to stop, and it's not not like, oh, it's me. Where is this coming from? Because many times has nothing to do with you. We have learned so many behaviors and patterns that we don't know, and we just play like by default. You go by default, and we think it's part of our identity because we're so used to living in the program. So all of those concepts, the book has many areas, right, that it deals with different areas, but that is part of the main foundation that I discuss in this book. Yes.
I'm going to share a quote that I found from you in another interview that you did. And the article was called Purpose Before Profit. Rosa Antonini of Wonders of My World on the Benefits of Running a Purpose-Driven Business. That was the name of the article. Mm-hmm. Now, I want to let our audience know that you are also a computer programmer or a computer engineer or a program engineer.
Software engineer, yes.
Software engineer,
yes.
Okay. So you're a computer programmer, and it's kind of coincidental that you are a computer programmer and you're talking about the programming of the mind. Mm-hmm. I don't think that's a coincidence. No. But this was the quote. Like software, we can reprogram our internal narratives, break free from the limiting beliefs, and transform even our greatest struggles into the foundation for something extraordinary.
Yeah.
So it seems that you've taken a lot of pieces from your life, from your career as a computer programmer to your work as, with the nonprofit, and you've kind of merged these ideas and thoughts into the messages that you give people on your social media and in your book, in your upcoming book. And you also have courses that is on your website, which I should share here at the bottom of the screen. This is her website where you can find some courses, free courses you have on the website. And I'll let you tell us a little bit more about that. But I've noticed that these, your career as a computer programmer and that logical thinking aspect of you have used those types of ideas and terms to inspire other people, using that language to kind of inspire other people to transform their lives. So I'll let you talk a little bit about that, about your courses and that work that you do.
Yeah. So, I have over 2 decades in computers. So yes, I kind of follow this logical way of seeing patterns. And it has a lot also from my life. So every quote that I write, anything that you see there, yeah, there is a story behind. Sometimes it might come from maybe I spoke to someone and I see a struggle in some area, and that might trigger this quote. Many cases it's come from my own experience and the experience of growing up, and the experience, that is difficult sometimes. I mean, for others to understand that you can understand in a way, but let's say truly understand certain challenges that happen when you are, let's say, the first one from many generations that is kind of going to that next level, right? To getting education, going to college first time, and all what that has, it's like a whole chain of events. It's a whole links that happen, because it's not just the fact, like, let's say you go to college and you get something. There is a lot that happen when a family, and that's why I'm so concentrated on young adults and providing skills, because I've seen it on myself. I've seen it in the part of my family that follow education versus maybe other people that I know that did one thing versus another. So everything comes from those really life experience. And even though now you see in social media, so many people selling, unfortunately, this quick idea that you're going to get rich if you do this in 3 months, or you can accomplish this and go like, in 6 months. And it makes such a bad impression, especially I think in young adults, because then they start comparing themselves with what social media is saying. And maybe they start thinking that you are missing out, or that you're not good enough because, look, that person did it just in X number time, and look at me. And then they start comparing this stuff that are not real. And I think this is making a really almost like a virus in society, because it's like downplaying the effort that something takes. And believe me, I believe in both. You need to have the positive mindset. You need to have those thoughts and the vibration. I talk about energy vibration. You need to keep that, because that's what gives you that belief that you can accomplish something. But then you don't see it out there. You need to take action, and you need to learn something. You need to get good at something. No matter what, you have to get good at something, and hopefully something that you can get paid for if you want to find some success. If by luck you get the lottery or something one day, wonderful. But that doesn't eliminate, that should not be the plan. And also, it's not about the money. It's not about getting these tangibles. It is the process that your mind, your spirit, your character changes through all the evolution. When you are trying, when you're putting the effort to accomplish something, that you are working for something, you change. The way you think is going to change. The way that you see life is going to change. Your level of self-fulfillment is going to change, because it's like that sense of accomplishment, and the sense that you did it, that you believe, that you can see it, that you can make it, that you make it worth it. So that all the quotes, they have ingredients that come from pieces of the story. Computer has a lot to do. The way that I develop has a lot to do. Seeing patterns, but also it's not just for inspiration. I do a lot of the computer and software engineering when I talk, because I believe they're practical tools. Because I think if you take it and you're serious about it and you put the time and effort, I believe you're going to see a change, because I did it, because I've seen it, because it's very logical. But there is the whole thing of, it's not just like, let's say someone might see someone that doesn't, a couch potato, how they call it, that person is lazy. And it's easy to judge others, because sometimes, one, we might not understand the culture, even a different culture. Sometimes we don't understand what is inside that person. What is the foundation that came? So we also, there are cases in which you can judge yourself, like, oh, why I did that? Oh, I hate myself because I did this. Or I wish I could go back and just change. And always this redo, the desire of redoing something that is already in the past. And I always say, most likely if you were back in the past, you will gonna do it the same way, because it's like, if you're already in 8th grade, you cannot try to try to have a 2nd grader behave like the 8th grader, right? There is a lot of learning that happened already. So when we look our younger self or something that happened in the past, it's better just to see the compassion and send the love and know that you did the best with what you could and what you had at the time. And that's the reality. Not to judge yourself with the knowledge and experience that you have today. That's not fair for you, right? It's not fair for us. So I think that, that also helped to let go that desire of going back and just, understanding that at any point, and that's why awareness is very important. Like, to live in awareness, it's not that you don't make mistake. It's just like you are aware of where you are, but you cannot judge the past with the knowledge of today.
Absolutely.
So
absolutely. And we are coming very close to the end of our show. One of the big takeaways I would like for my newbies out there to get from this particular show is that you don't have to depend on grant funding for your nonprofit. That is a resource. But I always encourage people, even if you're seeking grant funding, to always diversify your revenue stream to your organization, because grant money is slow money. Sometimes it takes a long time for you to get enough grant rotation to be that you can depend on. It takes years a lot of times to do that. And until then, and even when you have accomplished that, several funders funding you repeatedly, you still have to have some other means of income other than just grants. And because funders can always pull their grant funding from you for whatever reason. They might not have the money to fund you one year. So you want to always have other things coming in. This is a way, fee for service or selling products. In this particular case, Rosa sells her book. 100% of the proceeds go to Wonders of Our Work, Wonders of My World. And so that is a resource that you can create. So we don't want to just depend on grant funding. And so this is in a way a lesson also for people that are thinking about going into nonprofits, or some people that may be in their nonprofit right now but are struggling to find grant funding. You have other options. There are other ways to bring in revenue. So this is a great lesson. I'm so glad that you shared that with us, Rosa. And we are going to come to the end of our show now. Is there any final thoughts? I do want to say, please follow Rosa on Facebook. She's on Instagram, and she now also has a Facebook page for Wonders of
you can
My
follow
World.
the program. I will keep updated with the student program.
If you go to the Wonders of My World Facebook page, you will see all of the students that are going through the program and their accomplishments, and you will get updates around that. If you want to purchase her book, how do you purchase the book? That could be our final thought.
Amazon. No, I have a message before. You can get in Amazon. Rosa Antonini is easier maybe to find that the Zero-Sum Game of You. I have a message for anybody studying a nonprofit or that have that desire. And this is for those of you that really have that in your heart, not for money, not for whatever other reason, but in your heart. And I know that sometimes feels very heavy, and sometimes it's painful because you suffer by seeing the suffering of others. And one thing that I learned is that you cannot help others from a place of suffering, Because the suffering, if you bring the suffering from others, it really steals your energy. And I was like that for years, and I couldn't understand it. In order for you to create, to bring more opportunities, to be able to really spread the love, it's like switching from, and I know sometimes we might think, oh, this is unfair, or this is fair. You forget about all that and try your energy and your love, just let it flourish. Keep, like, in a way, you cut the cords of all the way that the suffering from others bring to you, like you're feeling it. You have to let that go. So then you can rise here. So then you can help them without being there. Because otherwise it's very difficult and you're not going to make it. I'm telling you, it takes a life of you. It really takes a life of you. So you really have to have the love, have the compassion, and in a way, the boundary, so you don't carry. And a little thing is better than nothing. Forget about all the suffering. Concentrate on one little thing that you can do, one that is manageable, that give you the happiness, that you feel like, oh my God, that's great. One little thing at a time. That's all what you can do.
Yes.
I hope
One
that
step at a time. That's a great message. And
it helped me.
with that being said, we're going to end this podcast. Thank you for joining us this evening.
Thank you so much, Bridget, for having me. Thank you so much.
Thank you. And thank you to our newbies out there.
We've come to the end of our show today. If you missed any broadcasts, go to our website for the audio and video archives at www.thefemalesolution.com. On behalf of our team of radio hosts, I'd like to thank all of you who participated in today's discussions. And to our global family joining us from all around the world, we say thank you. To our family in China, xie xie. India, Dhanyavad. Japan, arigato. Korea, kamsamnida. Russia, spasiba. Germany, danke. Poland, dziękuję. France, merci. Spain, gracias. Italy, grazie. Egypt, shukran. Ghana, madasi. Nigeria, eshe. South Africa, ngiyabonga. Senegal, jaref. Kenya, asante. Israel, toda. Pakistan, shukriya. Afghanistan, tashakur. Saudi Arabia and Palestine, shukran. Assalamu alaikum wa rahmatullahi wa barakatuhu. Thank you, and may peace be upon you and the mercy of God and God's blessings.